Life will change and can change if you do this one thing: move, get out, and leave your home country. Well, at least that's what happened to me. So, first of all, I just want to make this video as I usually do on this bike. And I gotta say, damn, the weather's really nice today. There's something about it. Right after a rainstorm here, the sun shines very brightly and the weather cools down so you don't get the humidity as you would normally, and the wind is blowing out. So you get a mixture of like amazing sunset views and the sky view of Vietnam. But this just had me thinking about how my life changed and how your life will change if you decide to make the move to Vietnam. So, first part being is that you'll get a massive culture shock. Despite me being Vietnamese American and half of my roots are from Vietnam, I've never been here before I came here. And honestly, there's a disconnect between Vietnamese Americans. I can say that confidently, but I don't know about Vietnamese Canadians, Vietnamese Australians. But we almost don't feel, or at least I don't feel, as if I was really Vietnamese. So I kind of just felt like every other foreigner expat coming through to Vietnam. And because of that, a lot of things shocked me. Well, first of all, just the, how people ride on the street, the traffic safety. You can actually just walk on the street. There's no really like walking sign. Yeah, there are some in certain areas, but in terms of just crossing the street, you just go based off vibes, whether it's locals or, taking your chance and you're seeing your opportunities to go. So that was the biggest culture shock. Just being able to navigate around the country, the city, the walking distance was a big thing for me. It's back home in the States. Yeah, there's a street sign. Walk. Green means go, red means stop, right? And here, I'm still getting used to it. In fact, I can't even ride a motorbike. So I always just have somebody drive me, thankfully, to really navigate this whole situation. So transportation, traffic-wise, adjusting that was a big one for me. And the second one part is just how people operate here. I always noticed that it's more relaxed. I never felt rushed compared to when I was living back home in the States. I always felt a little bit of rush. Like, okay, let's go. Time is money, money is time. Let's get this going on. But here, you'll notice how it's about friendliness, what I've noticed. The people here are friendlier. They want to interact with you. Where are you from? What are you trying to do here? There's more conversation involved. So I've noticed that the people of Vietnam are really friendly, really nice. And here's the thing, I'm not the only person. Let me try to fix this real quick. I'm not the only person that says that and experienced this. You'll hear a lot of other expats and foreigners say the exact same thing. Oh man, the Vietnamese people, they're so friendly, they're so nice here. They live in the moment of time. And you'll feel that as you talk with them, engage with them, share your stories, share your insights about the world. And just overall, the grind of trying to push things out, trying to hustle, trying to move on to the next big thing. It doesn't feel as prevalent here as back home. And you'll feel that change when you come move out here to Vietnam. Second part being is adjustment to the food. Yeah, in Vietnam, there's a lot of different types of foods out there. Internationally, but a lot of it is actually eating on the stalls out on the street. So that's a big thing I had to adjust to. So I'm gonna be honest. Eating food out on the streets was something that really pushed me back. Because I always thought if it's out on the street, on the stalls, the sun, humidity, insects, flies, mosquitoes, they're getting a piece and touching that food all day, all night. So why would I, unless I'm an idiot, would put that food in my mouth, swallow it, get the bacteria, get the germs and all that, put myself in a sick situation. Like, why would I do that? And so the biggest adjustment you'll notice is that it's perfectly fine to just eat, street food, stall food. And it's everywhere. I mean, obviously there's the restaurants here and there too, but the street food, it's such a normal thing. And the Vietnamese people do it here all the time. In fact, I'm the weird one. It's just something I had to adapt to just when I first came and moved here to Vietnam. And it's still something I'm trying to get used to. But, people live differently here. And a part of that is, there's a saying, do as Romans do. So, the Vietnamese people don't get sick here. And that big adjustment, making over here, you got to do it too. If you want to at least get some authenticity and try real Vietnamese food out here, right? So, another big thing I've noticed is that you're gonna have to understand that you will never be Vietnamese. And no matter how hard you try at the language, no matter how hard you know the history, culture, in fact, you might know the language, grammar rules, history better than Vietnamese people here, right? Who just went through just basic education. And I think about that is it's not racism, it's not lookism, maybe. It's just something about an Asian culture. There's just a, I don't know, vibe check, grow up check, maybe look how you look check. But you could live here for 10 years, 15, 20 years, you still wouldn't be able to really get involved into the culture. And so when you move here, you'll start to notice that yes, you're gonna feel like an outsider at first. Yes, you're gonna feel like, okay, maybe, they're not communicating to me like a normal Vietnamese people do. Even if you try to speak the language or even, try to pronounce Vietnamese perfectly, there's always that disconnect. And so you'll start to notice that, you'll just gravitate to more foreigners and expats naturally, or the Vietnamese people who've traveled abroad, who've lived in different countries, or get a sense of like working in a foreign company or working with a lot of internationals all day, every day. Then you'll start, then that's where you get like a feeling between the people there, and you'll get to communicate with them. But with like local Vietnamese, it's much harder, and you'll start to feel that. And I always thought to myself, why that is? Because look, even I get that. And I even look Vietnamese, and I try to speak my crappy Vietnamese to them. But they'll know right away, like, oh, he's Vietnamese abroad. He doesn't count. He just doesn't get us. So even I get that feeling. In fact, all my friends and networking people I talk to, they're all foreigners, expats. They're white, black, Spanish, European, South African. I don't have any Vietnamese. I just thought about that actually. Other than like networks, like I'm talking in terms of like not, I need like healthcare checkup, I need to go to my bank, I need to go to oh shit. Oh, that's actually one thing. I don't know if you just noticed. Sometimes they'll drive on the street just because they're like, all right, screw it. The traffic's too big, and the traffic is long today. We're on prime time. Sometimes people just drive on the street if they're like, all right, screw it. We're not waiting in this traffic. But what was I saying? I don't have any like, hey, Vietnamese friends, let's go out to drink some beer. Oh man, let's just shoot the crap and just talk about life, how life was in Vietnam, how life was in America. I actually don't have that. I actually just realized that now. And I asked myself why that is, and it's mostly because it's harder for me to actually just talk with them, connect with them. Maybe there's a language barrier, but even then, the ones who speak English, it's harder for me to nurture that relationship, because I think it's just a matter of just experience, how we're talking, how we're living, conversations. And then also it's me as well. I'm also put in the blame. Is that it takes time for me to nurture it. And I ask myself, should I be something I want to nurture? Because this one, I don't know, maybe it's American mindset, but I've always felt like in terms of relationships and connections, there's always something that like needs to be some beneficial type of thing. Like, okay, if I'm talking with you, maybe it's like, okay, I'm getting this out. If I'm talking with this, I got to get this out. And I think that's a big reason why I don't maybe communicate with like the Vietnamese locals here, is because I'm always thinking like, what am I benefiting out of that? And that's on me, you know. But I've noticed here with Vietnamese people, it's just vibes. Hey, let's just hang out. Let's just talk about whatever, girls, dating, business, lifestyle. Where's the best place to go? But here, yeah, that's something I might have to work on. Yeah, but I think this one's going to be a little bit shorter, just because I really want to enjoy the view of today and just the weather. That you really can't express and really understand unless you really live here. Because don't get me wrong, there's some bad days in terms of weather, raining, pouring. Other days like today, man, sometimes you can't help but enjoy. So I'm gonna cut this one short for today. Hope you enjoyed the rest of your time, and free school community link down below. Check it out. Ask any questions if you want to relocate, move to Saigon. Other than that, hopefully see you on the other side of the world.